Well, hi, it's Mike Woods here. I thought I'd put this video together. It's now been over 6 months since I attended the NLP training with Shephard, where I did the practitioner training. And I thought I'd share with you some of the results and the changes that's happened. And even though it's taken some time for them to embed, shall we say. A bit of a background on me. I started my first business in 1995, and I built up a number of businesses since then, which I'm still involved with, and particularly in the property industry. Some of you might know and remember that in 2006-07 we had a financial crash which impacted heavily on the property industry. So I had an architectural practice, a development company, and I was also investing in property. Little did I realise till 2011 the impact that this stress has caused on me. So back in 2011 I found out just by chance that I was suffering from clinical depression. Now, when you say by chance, I was exhibiting symptoms that were typically not me. I was in quite a dark place at times, and I had a family, I had successful businesses, I had everything that one could want, but I just wasn't happy. I was finding myself alone, tearful, not knowing what the hell was going on. I had everything that anybody could ever want: success, money, materialistic things, but I was just in a mess. I was an absolute mess. So fortunately I recognized this. I went to the doctor, got some medication, and things started getting better. But what was happening was I was relapsing, because typically as a business person and a forward thinking person, one keeps pushing, one has the wheel to keep pushing along, and I just was on this treadmill. And then I came across David and the NLP, and I did a couple of days initially with Fix My Mind, the first 2-day training. And I'm always into self-development. I always have been into self-development. I read a lot of self-development books. And I realized that this was for me. This is what I needed to get hold of. I needed to get more understanding of how my mind works. So I then went on the 7-day practitioner training. Even though you get a qualification as being a practitioner, for me it was more about self-development. And what I realized is internal representation. How we interpret events from the outside. Because if you think about it logically, if you are taking on board external events, interpreting them in a way that is causing you to be stressed, your reaction and behavior and your physical being is going to reflect the way that you interpret those events. And I know it sounds very, very straightforward, but unless you learn that and you realize that. So quite quickly I realized that I had to stop and reanalyze the way that I was interpreting external events, and then transferring that through into my physiology and through into my behavior. And having learnt that, it's really, really changed the way that I am now. Now, I can tell you that there have been a number of events that have happened in the last 6 months that I know and I recognize that previously my previous behavior would have caused me to have a little bit of a meltdown. I would have reacted to those events, taken them on board. They would have overwhelmed me, and I would have what we call as an episode. But now that I know how to reinterpret those things and how to value or put values and beliefs and change my beliefs about what those events are, it's made a heck of a change. It's made a hell of a change. I'm a lot calmer, I'm a lot happier, all because of the way in which I can now reevaluate how I interpret external events. The other very valuable thing that David taught is timeline therapy. Because if you don't know about timeline therapy, you really need to know about it, because this is a method in which we can use our imagination to basically go back to some events in the past which have caused us issues, and reevaluate those issues as if we were looking at them today with what we know today. And particularly when I would go and travel down my timeline back to my past event, I would come across a very black area, like a void. And this was the depression period. And I now know when I go, or when I did address this issue, it was frightening, I must admit. I was physically shaking when I traveled down my timeline and started going into the area of this black period. It was quite frightening. But I went back there and reassessed the events, knowing what I know now and what I've learnt. And I've realised that with the help of NLP and changing my beliefs and how I interpret external events, I now know how to deal with things. So if you're contemplating on doing any NLP, I strongly recommend you get in touch with David Shephard, and good luck to you. Wherever you are in your business journey, wherever you are in your state of mental health, and there's a lot of bits and pieces on mental health, and I can assure you, having been in a place where once upon a time it was a very dark place, and I'm so glad that I managed to get through it, and I'm able to share this with you now today. So I'm walking in a lovely country park. It's just after 8 a.m. in the morning, and I have the opportunity to come and walk my dog before I get on my work day, and I'm in a much better place than I was before. So good luck, get in touch with David, and I hope everything goes well for you. All the very best. Bye-bye.